Hello friends, today we are going to study the nutritional requirement of the microorganisms and the subject is the basic techniques in microbiology. Each and every microorganisms require some nutrients for their growth. They require some carbon source, nitrogen source and other minerals for their growth and for their multiplication. So we are going to study which nutrients are required and which are the conditions required for the growth of the microorganisms. Microelements required for the microorganisms. Macroelements are carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium and iron. They require in relatively large amounts. That's why they are known as the macroelements. And microelements such as the manganese, zinc, cobalt, molybdenum, nickel and copper. So these elements require into the small quantity or trace amount. That's why they are known as the microelements. Some organisms are of two types. One are the autotrophs and one are the heterotrophs. Autotrophic organisms are those organisms they can make their food by their own self. They use the sunlight and they can do some photosynthesis process and make their food by their own self. They are known as the autotrophic organisms. And heterotrophic organisms are those organisms they can use organic compound for their growth and for their multiplication or for their nutritional requirement. They are known as the heterotrophic organisms. So all organisms require some source of the electrons, and electrons are involved into the oxidation reduction reaction into the cell, for the electron transport chain and the pumps that drive the molecule against the concentration gradient on the cell membrane. So autotroph they can make their food by their own selves, and heterotroph they depend on the some organic molecule for their nutritional requirements. Requirement of the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen it often satisfied together. Carbon source often provide hydrogen and oxygens and electrons, and autotroph they can use carbon dioxide as a sole source of the carbon, and heterotrophs they use organic molecule as their carbon source. Autotrophs they use the carbon dioxide by many microorganisms. They have capacity to reduce the carbon dioxide and to form the organic molecules. And the example of the autotrophs, they are the photoautotrophs. They are able to fix the carbon dioxide and use light as their energy source. Then heterotrophs, they are the organisms we know that they use the organic molecule for their carbon source. And the examples are the Burkholderia Cepacia. They can use over 100 different types of the carbon compounds. Some require carbohydrate for their carbon source, some require other hydrocarbons for their carbon source, some organisms require glucose as their carbon source, some require sucrose, some require molasses, some organisms require methane as their carbon source. But this organism, that is the Burkholderia Cepacia, they require or they can use over 100 different types of the carbon compounds. Then methylobacteria, they utilize methanol, methane and the formic acid as their carbon source. So these are the major nutritional type, that is the photolithotropic organisms. They use light energy for the source of the energy, hydrogen, electrons and certain carbon dioxide as their carbon source. Example is the algae, other is the purple and green sulfur bacteria, and other is the cyanobacteria. These all organisms they are included into the photolithotropic organisms, autotrophic organisms. Then photoorganotrophy, heterotrophic. It means that they use light energy as their carbon source, organic hydrogen as the electron donor, and organic carbon source or the carbon dioxide as their carbon source. Example is the purple and green non-sulfur bacteria. Another is the chemolithotrophic autotrophy, and other is the chemoorganotrophic heterotrophy. So they require is the chemical energy and carbon dioxide as the carbon source. This chemoorganotrophic heterotrophy they require chemical energy. The example of the chemolithotrophic autotrophy are the sulfur oxidizing bacteria, nitrifying bacteria and the iron oxidizing bacteria. And chemoorganotrophic heterotrophy, they are the most non-photosynthetic bacteria including pathogens, protozoa and fungi. Then photolithotrophic autotrophs, we know that light energy and the carbon dioxide as their carbon source. Cyanobacteria, they use water as the electron donor and they release the oxygen. Purple and green sulfur bacteria, they use inorganic donors like the hydrogen and hydrogen sulfide for the electrons. Then chemoorganotrophic heterotrophs, they use organic compounds as the source of the energy and the hydrogen, electron and carbon, and pathogenic organisms fall under this category of the nutrition. Then organoheterotrophs, they are the common habitat of the polluted streams. These bacteria use organic matter as their electron donor and the carbon source. They use light as their source of energy, and they are the important ecological organisms. Then chemolithotrophic autotrophs, they oxidize the reduced inorganic compounds such as the iron, nitrogen and sulfur molecules. They derive energy and electron for the biosynthesis, and carbon dioxide is the main carbon source for this type of the organisms. Then requirement for the nitrogen is the basic requirement for the organisms for the synthesis of the amino acids and for the synthesis of the ultimately proteins. Purines and pyrimidines are the base of the both DNA and RNA, and for other derivative molecules such as the glucosamine. Many microorganisms, they can use nitrogen directly from the amino acids. The amino group is derived from the ammonia through the action of enzymes such as the glutamate dehydrogenase. Most photoautotrophs and many non-photosynthetic microorganisms, they can reduce the nitrate and to ammonia and assimilate the nitrogen through the nitrate reduction. And a variety of the bacteria, they are involved into the nitrogen cycle, such as the rhizobium. We know that these rhizobium bacteria, they are present into the root nodules of the plants. They can fix the nitrogen and they can provide the nitrogen to the plants. So rhizobium is the essential bacteria for the nitrogen fixation. So they can use the nitrogen and they can produce the ammonia. And they are the ultimate part, or they are the active participants of the nitrogen cycle, and the incorporation nitrogen into the plants to make the nitrogen compounds. Then the phosphorus. Phosphorus is also the main requirement of the microorganisms. It is included into the macro element. Phosphorus is present into the phospholipids. It is present into the nucleic acids, DNA or RNA. They are also used into the preparation or the formation of the coenzymes by the microorganisms, for the synthesis of the ATP by the microorganisms, for the synthesis of some proteins and other key cellular components of the microorganisms. Inorganic phosphorus is derived from the environment in the form of the phosphates. Some microorganisms such as the E. coli, they can use organophosphates such as the hexo-6-phosphate as the phosphorus source. Then the source of nitrogen, some organic molecules, some ammonia compound, nitrate via assimilatory nitrate reduction, nitrogen gas. So this can be used for the nitrogen source. Some growth factors such as the organic compounds, there are many growth factors, they are required for the growth of the microorganism, such as the amino acids, they are needed for the protein synthesis. Some growth factors such as the purines and pyrimidines, they are needed for the nucleic acid synthesis into the microorganisms. Some are the vitamins, they are needed for the function of some enzymes and some cofactors into the microbial cells. These amino acids, they are responsible for the formation of the proteins. Amino acids are the building blocks of the protein and they are required for the synthesis of the protein into the microorganisms. Then some nutrients enter by the passive diffusion inside the cell of the microorganisms. Most nutrients, they are entered by the facilitated diffusion into the microorganisms. Some nutrients enter into the microorganisms by the active transports and some are by group translocation. Now the culture media. What is culture media? Culture media is the medium in which we can add all the requirement of the microorganisms which we have studied up to this, such as the carbon source, nitrogen source, some growth factors, some vitamins, some minerals, microelements, some macroelements. All these things can be added into the culture media, and this culture media may be the final source of the nutrients for the growth of the microorganisms. So we can grow these microorganisms inside the culture media, and finally the microorganisms, they can fulfill their ultimate requirement by the culture media. So culture medium is a gel, or it may be liquid, or it may be solid. There are different types of the media used for the different types of the microorganisms of the, or different types of the cell. The most commonly used growth media for the microorganisms is nutrient agar or the nutrient broth. Nutrient agar and nutrient broth, they can support the growth of the almost all kind of the microorganisms. Some fastidious organisms need specialized media for their growth. These are some culture media which are used into the microbiological laboratory and into the pharmaceutical laboratory and into the laboratory in which the all microbiological tests are conducted. The need of the culture medium, there are two types of the culture media. One is the liquid medium and other is the solid medium. Liquid medium, it diffuse the growth, no characteristics for the identification. It's difficult to isolate the culture into the liquid media, and earliest liquid medium was the urine or the meat broth used by the Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur is the scientist and he has so much contribution into the medical microbiology. Then the solid media, it has microorganisms can form distinct colony morphology into the solid media. It has characteristics that is, it easy to identify the microorganism into the solid media, and we can get the growth of microorganism in the form of colony, and this colony can be macroscopically seen, and if we make the smear of that colony, then we can observe the microorganisms in microscope. Then agar. What is agar? Agar is used to solidify the media. Agar has no nutritional special requirement for the microorganism, but it is a solidifying agent, and it is used to solidify the media for the preparation of the solid media. It is universally used for preparing the solid medium. It is obtained from the seaweed Gelidium. Gelidium is the algae, it is the seaweed, and this is generally used. This is the picture of the Gelidium, and it is used for the extraction of the agar, and this agar is used for the solidifying agent into the solid media. It has no nutritive value. It is not affected by the growth of bacteria. It melts at 98 degrees Celsius and sets at 42 degrees Celsius, and 2% agar is the required, or it is employed into the solid media, that is 2 gram in 100 ml. Types of culture media is based on their consistency. Solid medium, liquid medium, and semi-solid medium is based on the constituents or the ingredients. Other the type is the simple medium, complex media, synthetic or defined medium, and special media. This type of the media, different types of the media is required for the different types of the microorganisms and the growth characteristics of the microorganisms. Special media includes enriched media, enrichment media, selective media, indicator media, differential media, then sugar media, transport media, and media for the biochemical reactions. So this all media are requirement of this all media, it depends on the types of the microorganisms and growth of the microorganisms. Some microorganisms, some media they can be divided based on the oxygen requirement of the microorganisms. Aerobic microorganisms require aerobic medium for their growth, and anaerobic microorganisms require anaerobic media for their growth and multiplication. Now the solid media, it contains 2% of the agar. Nutrient agar, examples are the nutrient agar and the blood agar. Liquid media, it do not contain the agar powder, because we know that agar is the solidifying agent. It is the example is the nutrient broth, and the semi-solid media, it contains 0.5% of the agar, and the example is the motility medium. Motility medium is used to see the motility of the microorganisms, if the microorganisms are motile or mobile or not. So this medium is used to see the movement of the microorganism inside the media. So semi-solid medium is used for the to study the motility of the microorganisms. These are the types of the different media. This is the solid media, which is prepared into the Petri plate. Liquid medium, it is prepared into the test tube, and these are the semi-solid media. Here you can see the step inoculation of the microorganisms, and we can see the microorganisms are motile or not. This is the example of the motility, that is the motile growth of the microorganism. This is non-motile growth of the microorganisms. Then simple media, most common in routine diagnostic laboratory are the nutrient broth and the nutrient agar. It is the simple media. It contains nutrient broth, glucose can be added into the nutrient media, then agar can be added into the nutrient media, and if we reduce the concentration of the agar, then solid media, solid nutrient broth or nutrient agar, it will be converted into the semi-solid medium. This is the composition of the nutrient agar. It contains peptone, then the Lab-Lemco powder, yeast extract, sodium chloride, and the agar powder, and pH should be 7. It is used to culturing almost every kind of the microorganism. Non-fastidious organisms grow well on the nutrient agar. It is used for routine culturing of the microbiology lab, and it is in early 1900s, and it is suggested for the water testing of the growth of the microorganisms into the water. Then the complex media. This media, other than the, it is the media which is other than the basal media, that is the basic media. They have added complex ingredients such as the yeast extract or the casein hydrolysate, which consists of a mixture of many chemicals. Complex media, it contains mixture of the many chemicals, and it depends on the growth of the different types of the organism. But it means that it provides the special nutrients for the special kind of the microorganisms. Then other is the defined or the synthetic media. This is the media prepared from the pure chemical substance. Here is the mixture of the chemicals, and here will be the pure chemical, but not the normal media like the agar. its exact composition is known and it is used for special studies, as for example the metabolic requirement of the microorganism. And the example is the peptone water. It is the defined media. It contains 1% peptone and 0.5% of the sodium chloride into the water. Then another is the enriched media. Substance like the blood, serum, egg are added to the basal medium and it enriched the growth of the microorganisms. This media is used to higher growth of the microorganisms or so much amount of the growth or enrichment of the growth of the microorganism. It is used to grow bacteria that are exacting in their nutritional needs. As example is the blood agar and the chocolate agar. These are the examples of the enriched media. Liquid media is used to isolate the pathogen from a mixed culture. If we are having the mixed culture of the microorganisms and we want to isolate only specific type of the organisms, then we can use the enriched media. It stimulates the growth of the desired bacterium. It inhibits the growth of the unwanted organisms. So unwanted organism will be eliminated and the wanted organism will be enriched into the enriched media. Media is incorporated with the inhibitory substance to suppress the unwanted growth of the organisms and increase into the numbers of the desired bacteria. Example is the salinide broth. This salinide broth will enrich the growth of the Salmonella typhi and it will reduce the growth of the E. coli and Bacillus. Another example is the tetrathionate broth. So it will inhibit the growth of the coliform and enrich the growth of the Salmonella typhi. Then alkaline peptone water. It is used to enrich the growth of the Vibrio cholerae. So these are the known as the defined media. This is the salinide broth. It is used for the enrichment of the Salmonella typhi. Salmonella organisms, Salmonella typhi, Salmonella paratyphi and Salmonella paratyphi B from the feces, urine and other pathological specimens. And it is the selective or defined medium. It contains the casein enzyme hydrolysate, lactose, sodium phosphate, and part B it contains the sodium hydrogen selenite. And the reaction is the Escherichia coli. It will be no increase in number and it will form the pink with bile precipitation, and Salmonella typhi it will give good luxurious growth and it will form the colorless colony, and Salmonella typhimurium it also produce good growth into the salinide broth and it will form the colorless colony. Here you can see the growth of the microorganisms into the different selective media. This is the salinide broth which increase the growth of the Salmonella typhi. Tetrathionate broth is also increase the growth of the Salmonella species. Alkaline peptone water. So these are the examples of the some differentiate or the selective media. The inhibitory substance is added into the solid or liquid media. It increases the number of the colonies of desired bacterium. Example is the deoxycholate citrate medium for the growth of the dysentery bacilli. McConkey's medium for the growth of the gram-negative bacteria. Then another is the TCBS. It is used for the growth of the Vibrio cholerae, and Algae medium is used for the growth of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. These are the examples, that is the McConkey's medium. You can see that this gram-negative bacteria, it will form the pink color colony, that is the lactose fermenting colony in the McConkey agar, and gram-positive bacteria will be eliminated because this medium possesses the bile salt, and this bile salt is the inhibitory agent for the growth of the gram-positive bacteria. So gram-negative growth will be enriched and gram-positive growth will be eliminated. Another is the thiosulfate citrate bisalt sucrose, and it is used for the growth of the Vibrio cholerae. Another is the deoxycholate citrate agar, and another is the Algae media. Then indicator media. It contains the indicator which changes its color when a bacterium grows in them. When we add the bacteria, inoculate the bacteria into the medium, the bacteria will be grow after 24 hours and the color of the medium will be changed. So it indicates the growth of the microorganism. This type of the media, they are known as the indicator media. Example of this media is the Wilson-Blair medium. A Salmonella typhi, it formed the black colonies on this medium. Then other is the McLeod's medium. Diphtheria bacilli, it will form some color into the McLeod's medium. And then example of the another indicator, that urease producing bacteria, it will produce the urease enzyme urea will be converted into the carbon dioxide and the ammonia, and this ammonia, it will turns the color of the medium pink. So this is the urea medium. This is the original color of the medium. If microorganisms are inoculated into this original media, and after 24 hours the microorganisms will be grow and it will produce pink color. Why it produce pink color? Because microorganism produce the urease enzyme. This urease enzyme, it will convert the urea present into the media into carbon dioxide and ammonia produced by the microorganisms, it will turns the color of the media pink. So this original medium will be converted into the pink color after the growth of the urease producing microorganisms. Another is the blood agar. It is the enriched and the differential media. It is used to grow the fastidious organisms. It contains defibrinonated mammalian blood and usually sheep blood or the horse blood. It is used for the growth of the fastidious organism. It is the differential medium based on the hemolytic reaction. We can see the hemolytic reaction. There are two types of the hemolytic reaction produced by the microorganisms into the blood agar, alpha hemolysis and the beta hemolysis. Here you can see the growth of the microorganisms which produce beta hemolysis, growth of microorganisms which can do reactions such as the alpha hemolysis and the gamma hemolysis. So you can see the growth of the microorganisms in different hemolysis into the blood agar. Then another is the chocolate agar. When blood agar is heated, the red cells are lysed and the medium becomes brown into the color. It is referred to as the chocolate agar and it supplies the factor required for the growth of the Haemophilus influenza. This chocolate agar is used for the growth of the Haemophilus influenza. It is also used to culture nutritionally demanding pathogens such as the Neisseria meningitis and Streptococcus pneumoniae, which cause pneumonia, and this Neisseria meningitis, which is the causative agent of the meningitis, that is the disease of the brain. Here this is the picture of the chocolate agar. Then the differential media, substance incorporated in it enabling it to distinguish between the bacteria. Example is the McConkey's medium. It contains the peptone, lactose, agar, neutral red and the turocolate. It distinguishes between the lactose fermenter and the lactose non-fermenting bacteria. E. coli and Enterobacter aeruginus, these are the example of the lactose fermenting bacteria. They can give the pink color on the McConkey's agar. So it is included into the differential media. This is the lactose fermenter. It will produce the pink color colony, and lactose non-fermenter, it will produce the colorless colony. Example are the E. coli and the Enterobacter aeruginus. Then sugar media. Media containing any fermented substance such as the glucose, arabinose, lactose, starch. It contains the 1% of the sugar, any of the sugar. It may be glucose, arabinose, maltose, lactose, fructose, any of the sugar. In peptone water plus the indicator. It contains the small tube for the detection of the gas by the bacteria, and this small tube is known as the Derham's tube. If the bacteria produce the gas, then Derham's tubes will be come up, and we can conclude that the bacteria are gas producing bacteria. Here you can see the sugar media which contain different of the sugar, and here you can see the inverted tube. It is known as the Derham tubes, and if the microorganism produce gas, then this Derham tubes will be come up and we can conclude it. Then another is the triple sugar ion agar, that is known as the TSI agar. It contains 3 sugar, glucose, lactose and sucrose. It is composite media used to study the different properties of the bacterium such as the sugar fermentation property, gas production property and the H2S production property. It is an orange red medium with a slant and a butt. It is recommended for the identification of the number of the Enterobacter family of the microorganisms and the Salmonella family of the microorganisms. TSI reactions. If the TSI slant is converted to yellow color, it means that the microorganisms have produced some acid, and if the slant is converted into the pink color, then it means that microorganisms have produced some alkaline. It means that the pH of the medium has been increased due to some activity of the microorganisms. Here you can see the different reaction of the TSI slant. Yellow slant and yellow bud, it is the lactose fermenting microorganisms. Pink slant and yellow bud, non-lactose fermenting organisms. Pink slant and no color change into the bud, non-fermenting organisms. Black color of the medium, it means that microorganisms have produced some H2S. Gas bubbles on or crack into the medium, it means that microorganisms have produced some amount of the H2S gas. Then here you can see the different organisms, they can produce some different reactions, such as the E. coli. It produces the yellow color of the slant, yellow color of the butt, H2S negative, it means that E. coli is not producing H2S, and gas is positive. Here you can see the reactions of the Proteus. It produces the red color of the slant, yellow color of the butt, H2S positive, and gas, it is not determined. Here you can see the different reactions of the TSI slant. This is known as the slant, and this portion is known as the butt. Culture methods employed depend on the purpose for which they are intended. To isolate the bacteria in pure culture, to demonstrate this property of the organisms, to obtain sufficient growth for the preparation of the antigens and for other tests, for the bacteriophage and for the bacteriocin susceptibility, to determine the sensitivity of the antibiotics, to estimate the viable counts and maintain the stock culture. So for this all the activity of the microorganisms to study, we require culture media for the growth of the microorganisms. There are many culture methods for the growth of the microorganisms into the culture media. One is the strict culture, that is the sticking of the microorganism, then lone culture, then stalk culture, stab culture, pore plate method, liquid culture, and anaerobic culture methods. So we are going to study each and every culture method one by one, step by step. First is the strict culture, used for the isolation of bacterial in pure culture from the clinical specimen. Platinum wire or the nichrome wire is used. One lookful of the specimen or the suspension is transferred on the surface of a well dried plate, spread over a small area at the periphery. An inoculum is then distributed thinly over the plate by the sticking it with a loop in a series of the parallel lines into the different segments of the plate. On inoculum, spreaded colonies are obtained over the last series of the sticks. Here you can see the strict culture. Here you can see that this is the nichrome wire loop, and it is strict, the microbial suspension is strict on the Petri plate in the zigzag fashion, and finally this is the perfect strict plate. And we can, after inoculation, the plates are incubated, and after incubation of the 24 hours or 48 hours, we can see the growth of the microorganisms into the form of colony on the plate which has been strict, that is suspension has been strict, and the microorganisms will be grow and they will form their growth in the form of colony. Another is the lone culture. It is used for the bacteriophage typing, then antibiotic sensitivity testing. In the preparation of the bacterial antigens and vaccines, lone cultures are prepared by flooding the surface of the plate with a liquid suspension of the bacterium. So here you can see the growth of the lone growth of the microorganisms, and this is the plate for the antibiotic sensitivity, and lone growth of the microorganisms are present on the plate, and this is the zone of inhibition of the lone growth of the microorganisms around the antibiotics. Another is the stalk culture. Stalk culture is made in tubes containing agar slope and the slant. It is used to provide a pure growth of the bacterium for the slide agglutination and other diagnostic tests. So here you can see this is the stalk culture. Stalk of the microorganism, suspension of the microorganism has been done with the use of the nichrome wire, and this is the growth of the microorganisms on the stalk culture, that is the suspension has been stalked on the agar slant. And here you can see the growth of the microorganisms after incubation of this stalk culture. Then the stab culture, prepared by the puncturing a suitable medium, gelatin or the glucose agar with a long straight charged wire. This is also the platinum or the nichrome wire. Demonstration of the gelatin liquefaction, oxygen requirements of the bacterium under study, and maintenance of the stalk cultures. So here you can see that this is the straight nichrome wire, and this is used for the stabbing of the agar slant, and the agar will be stabbed and the microorganisms will be grow in the form of the stab. So this is the stab culture. Then the pore plate culture. Agar medium is melted and cooled at the 45 degrees Celsius. 1 ml of the inoculum is added to the molten agar. Mix the medium and the culture, they mixed well and pour to the sterile Petri dish, and this culture should be allowed to set for the few minutes. and few minutes, incubated at 37 degrees Celsius, and the colonies will be distributed throughout the depth of the medium. It is used to give an estimate of the viable bacterial count in a suspension and for the quantitative urine analysis. Here you can see that this medium is melted at the 45 degrees Celsius, then 1 ml of the culture is added and the medium is poured into the nutrient. This malted nutrient agar is poured into the Petri plate, and then the microorganisms are spreaded by the use of, this is the spreader, by the use of the spreader, and we can see the colonies grown only on the surface of the medium. So microorganism suspension is mixed with the medium into the malted state at 45 degrees Celsius, and this mixed culture with the microorganisms and the medium, this both is poured inside the Petri plate, and then the culture is sprayed on the Petri plate, and you can see the growth of the microorganisms in form of the colony on the surface of the poured medium. Then the liquid culture. Liquid cultures are inoculated by touching with a charged loop or by adding to the inoculum with pipettes or the syringe. Examples is the blood culture, sterility test medium, that is the fluid thioglycolate medium, and the soybean casein digest medium, which two mediums are used for the sterility test, and continuous culture method. Disadvantage, it does not provide a pure culture from the mixed inoculum, because this is the liquid medium, so we cannot distinguish or differentiate the culture, or we cannot select the pure culture of the microorganisms. Here you can see that liquid media containing liquid microorganism or liquid culture or the liquid suspension. This is the liquid culture. Then anaerobic culture method. Anaerobic bacteria which do not require oxygen for their growth, they are known as the anaerobic bacteria. They differ in their requirement and sensitivity to the oxygen. Example is the Clostridium tetani, which is the causative agent of the tetanus, is a strict anaerobic organisms, and they grow at an oxygen tension less than 2 millimeter per pressure. This method is the production of the vacuum, then the displacement of the oxygen with the other gases, then some chemical method, some biological method, and the reduction of the medium. So by this method we can make the anaerobic condition for the growth of the anaerobic organisms. We can produce some vacuum, that's why the oxygen will be not present into the medium. We can displace the oxygen with some other gas. We can use some chemical which will use the oxygen, and the oxygen depletion will be occur. Then some biological method. This biological method means the growth of the other microorganisms, they can use all the oxygen, and the oxygen, it will make some anaerobic conditions, and the reduction of the medium, medium components will be reduced, and they used up all the oxygen present into the medium and make the anaerobic condition which is favorable for the growth of the anaerobic microorganisms. Production of the vacuum, incubate the culture into the vacuum desiccation, then the displacement of the oxygen with other gases, by such as the CO2 or some helium gases, carbon dioxide and helium gases, and the example is the candle jar. Here you can see the anaerobic environment. Here this is the flame. This flame will use all the oxygen present into the jar, and it will make the condition anaerobic inside the jar, and the microorganisms into the plate, they are incubated into the anaerobic condition. Oxygen will be not present there, and microorganisms will be grow into the anaerobic environment. And this is the anaerobic jar. Here you can see that this carbon dioxide and hydrogen, it will make the, this is the anaerobic indicator, methylene blue. These are the Petri plates which are, and envelope containing sodium bicarbonate and sodium borohydrate, and this the palladium crystallized pellets clamped with thin. So these are the anaerobic jar which contain the anaerobic environment for the growth of the microorganisms. Thank you.